Just gotta wait, gonna celebrate. Woo! When it's my time, gonna elevate. Go, 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 go.
Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome to Mahala's World, or Mr. Mahala's World. I am your host, Mahala. Today we're going to talk about something crazy that we're not all surprised by in today's, social market with our social media and what's popular, what's trending, not. Today we're going to talk about Xbox's downfall. A not so subtle tweet by the global marketing manager for Xbox, which I don't think is doesn't seem sanctioned by the rest of the company. We're also going to talk about some other topics gearing towards the game industry and how it's trying to be taken over by the crazy people of the world. We're fighting the good fight. Sweet Baby Inc. is in that sort. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Help grow. I'm working on affiliation soon, so hopefully you guys will be benefiting from that. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, first I want to talk about Kelly Lombardi, who will forever be in the history books as probably one of the strangest tweets of my life that I've seen. To think that she would immediately think that that she wouldn't get torched online. This comes back to a moment like where we have people that just don't understand social media. Instead, they try to just feed off of the what's trending situations. You know what I mean? They look, oh, it's trending. Oh, inequality in games. Okay, let's do that. And then they make a tweet about it to make themselves seem on par with those topics, or hip and cool, as the older people used to say. It's crazy. You see it from anywhere from marketing managers who don't understand a thing about social media to people who run companies. These days, it seems like the only person that understands social media is Elon Musk, and he's just as old as some of these people. He just gets it. Maybe it's pure intellect. I don't know. So Kelly Lombardi, I'll put an image on the screen of what she posted here. Made an extremely crazy tweet about raise your hand if you're not a white man and you buy video games, which is very strange. There's more to the tweet, but I want to talk about that part specifically. Like, where in history of games, in my opinion, like since nerds and games and did a thing, I don't remember there ever being inequality racially or any other inequality, like, at all, right? Well, there's that, and then there's the forced stuff that we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. She's out of Seattle, Washington. Obviously, I'm not single, harass her, but that's what her page says. It caused massive outrage online. She happens to be the global marketing person for Xbox, and I did say global. It's not just America, which is wild. That she would think this would, go over easy. I mean, also, does nobody screen her tweets? She has to answer to somebody, right? There's no way she can just do what she wants to do. This seems kind of crazy. Let me start the music here a little second. Yeah, so it's kind of wild how something like this can just get past everything at Xbox, and she's able to just put this on blast. Xbox has enough trouble spending a shit ton of their capital on, excuse my language, a ton of their capital on buying game companies this year and last. Basically spending so much money that they didn't get anything in return immediately because all the game companies that they bought, their games weren't finished. So Xbox is not having a good year, so to speak. I mean, they bought Bethesda, and they're working on DLC for a game that did pretty well and was overly hated, in my opinion. The game was great. Typical Bethesda. They bought a bunch of other stuff, and they bought Activision, which was the big one this year. The big monopoly, court cases and filings and all types of stuff to try to prevent them from buying one of the biggest companies in gaming history, which I will say I worked there for 10 years amongst the studios and also headquarters. Just a little tidbit about my background. Yeah, I won't disclose anything what I did there, projects I worked on, but I worked on a lot. And I will say, you know, it's rough. It's kind of rough when you have to deal with backlash and people who do say the wrong thing for their own benefit, not thinking about where they work. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine what Xbox is going through. Especially they're so, you know, straight lined. Xbox is, right. They're so like they don't really deviate from that line very much. Sometimes then you have people like this who just kind of like push the whole company over to one side, and you're like, who allowed this? And also like you're telling me everybody, no one in the office knew this person was like this, felt this way. You know, it's all lies. You know, they know this person was this crazy. It was a matter of time before she made a tweet like this. This brings me to the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, right? Like, so let's get to before we get to that, let's get to the other part of the tweet she wrote. She said, "Not hating on white dudes, just another day in the gaming industry that minorities have to fight to prove they exist." I could tell you from working in the game industry for the past 14 years now, 12 years, sorry. That ain't true, not even a little bit. I've worked with many studios, many partners. One of my projects I just got done working for Singularity 6, which made a cozy game. I was part of that company. Dude, it's absolutely insane to say that. The developers vary from regular white guy to Europeans to people from France to women to trans to gay to bi. Like it's so diverse. It's so diverse, and I don't even understand that. And on the topic of like certain groups being represented in video games, it has to go with the story. I'm sorry. There are writers, just like for movies and shows, and you can't just input said race that you want to complain about because it suits your political needs, right? Or your social needs. It's not how it works, right? It's just weird. Like that's that's like having an Asian Iron Man. I'm sorry, we all grew up with the white guy Iron Man. No one would go watch it. I'll tell you right now. This is part of DC's problem too. That's another topic for another day. But you have these companies like I was saying earlier, just don't understand that there's a time and a place for everything, and not everything has to be force-fed a narrative. Not everything. It's just video games, it's entertainment. Leave all that stuff out of there. I'll give you a hint, guys. From working in the game industry for so long with great and beautiful people, to today streaming on your phones and your computers, I'm here to tell you, and I hope executives hear this, and I hope this gets out. Entertainment is for entertainment. Oh my god, no, it's a secret. It's a massive secret. I just told you the biggest secret of entertainment. People go watch movies and they can play video games to escape the real world. The fact that you guys are putting real world things into those things is why they're failing. It's not rocket science. Star Wars, did you learn your lesson? You can't hire a feminist to make a Star Wars movie and she trashes men and then have that be successful. Most of your demographic is nerdy men that grew up with Star Wars comics and watched the old movies, and their parents watched the movies. You know, it's wild that they would think. I just feel like today companies are lost. They just don't do their homework. I think that's what it is. Like, you could give Helen Keller the assignment of figuring out what not to do with Star Wars, and she would figure it out. It's not hard. You know what I mean? It's not hard to understand that entertainment is an escape for a lot of people, right? From love stories to romantic anime to shows to games. Like, you have cozy games, right? You have those people that want to just relax and play something that's not stressful because their life is stressful. And then you integrate all these political things within this game. It's no longer an escape, and those games fail. Now, we could talk about specifics. Harry Potter is one of them. The Hogwarts Legacy, fantastic game. But I would say, hands down, I was super immersed in that game. And this has nothing to do with transgenders or anything like that or whatever. because I have transgender friends. It just threw me off to go and talk to the bartender in game, spoilers by the way, and to hear a man's voice come out of a woman NPC. I'm sorry. That world doesn't have those issues. This is my problem. You guys are interjecting things into these worlds that don't have these issues. You people don't understand that. This is what I mean. You have to have nerds run these corporations or run these games and movies. You have to have nerds in there because they'll straight up tell you, hey, Star Wars, they're worried about not dying from space battles and lasers and lightsabers and the bad guys. They're not worried about transgender stuff. It doesn't exist in that world. There's aliens, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? It's not a topic of discussion in Star Wars. So don't put it in Star Wars. It doesn't make sense. It's super out of place. It throws people off. It doesn't go with the lore, nothing. Just stick to the story. Stick to what the no is for that piece of entertainment. Right? Hogwarts did not need that person in there. That was completely and utterly for inclusion purposes. Right? And to my point, and I'm not a red pill, so chill the hell out. To my point, you're folding your will to a very small demographic of people to ruin it for the rest of us. And I'm sorry, you do ruin things, right? Nothing against Rey. I actually one of the few people who like the new Star Wars movies, but now we're being force-fed everything feminism in Star Wars. It's too much. It's too much. You had Captain Marvel from Marvel become the Marvels, which was just made it so much worse. I'm sorry, Captain Marvel is a serious person, both in the comics and in the movies and in anywhere else you find Captain Marvel. To give her two random other people and give them random powers to mash them up like that, and then to make it, they try to do like a Thor comedy. Like, what are you doing? Just make a Captain Marvel movie, and it would have sold well. Same thing with Ant-Man, right? When they introduced, Quantumania and all that stuff, and the big bad guy. You know why it didn't do well? You're trying to add comedy to something that's not comedic. It's like everyone's out of touch. I don't understand. It's like everyone lost their minds. They don't know how to create stuff well anymore. It's like they're so boggled by the stuff that they have to input for social purposes and agendas that they just forget how to make good things. That's what it seems like we're at now. It kind of sucks that we're that way, but that's looking like where it's heading. And then you have games like Helldivers 2. Gives no F's about any of that crap. You know how many comments they got per day? You're not including this, you're not including that. There's no transgender option for the Helldiver. I'm sorry. They don't have that problem in this world. It's not a thing in Helldiver universe. It's Super Earth and fight for democracy, and everybody has a man, woman, and child. It's very straightforward. Democracy, not democracy. You know what I mean? And even though they got all those things said to them, they didn't fold. They do what they want. They do what they're supposed to do. They adhere to the story they're trying to tell. Right? They have a game master. He's not gonna ruin the whole. That would throw everyone off if you start putting in political things like that. Right? It's just leave that out of entertainment, people. Your companies will do better. Your market share will do better. You will do better. Because guaranteed, people like Kelly Lombardi, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You probably just torched your whole career. You know what a blacklist is? Well, I'm here to tell you, everyone that's watching this video, it exists in the entertainment industry. I'm not talking about just movies. Everyone thinks it's just movies and the directors. No. There's a huge blacklist that exists for games. It's secret, not secret. You just know. Right? You get blacklisted by someone like Activision, who, by the way, has their own security team. Not like a military. That just seems they have a whole security department. Right? You're blacklisted, buddy. Good luck getting hired by any studio when your name goes on there. And I'm telling you right now, Kelly Lombardi is about to hit that list real fast. The backlash is enormous. Especially with Xbox. They lose in the console race. They spent a bunch of money they shouldn't have. They bought a bunch of studios who aren't producing. The only one that's producing money is Activision. That's about it. Right? And Sony kind of make the same problem. They bought they bought a dying Bungie, which is like Who made that decision? You know what I mean? Um, that's topic for another. We could talk. Maybe a whole another video about Bungie and their downfall and their mistakes, and it kind of seems like they're out of touch. They've been out of touch for years too. It's just it doesn't make any sense. It's like we're in a topsy-turvy parallel universe where people just forgot how to make, good creative entertainment. And there's a couple shiners there. There's a couple, shine bright, entertainment pieces out of the whole thing. For me, for example, if we're talking about shows, you got like Star Trek, right, which I love. I think that show was amazing. You got, a bunch of other shows that came out that are just devoid of all that crap and just tell a story. That's what it's all about. Tell a story. You know what I mean? Fast 10. You think Fast and Furious? You think Vin Diesel is gonna turn around and start putting in transgender races? And you know what I mean? Like, no. It's about beer, cars, and explosions. That's the story he's telling. A little bit of comedy sprinkled in with Ludacris and Tyrese. That's it. It's a good it's a good formula. Don't change it. You know what I mean? When it comes to games, though, specifically, a little bit earlier this year, and also ongoing, we had Sweet Baby Inc. Right? And Sweet Baby Inc. is just everything that's wrong with entertainment. Right? It's just a company that force feeds feminine ideals into games. That's all they're created to do. Right? They mask themselves as, hey, we're making sure people are included. It's not what they are. They just force feed crap into games. Right? And on another note, another side note of like Bayonetta, right? Not Bayonetta, Beyblade. Right? Is it Beyblade? The sexy girls with the swords. The game that demo just came out and all these people are flipping out because she's sexy. It makes no goddamn sense to me. Like, since when did sexy, strong females become a bad thing? I don't understand. It's been around since forever. Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie, same thing with the Brad Pitts. There's nothing wrong with a good-looking, strong dude either. We'll go watch that. We'll go watch Brad Pitt mess some people up, as Achilles. We'll go do it. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I don't understand. It seems like even in video games, the women are now being portrayed as these butch, not pretty, don't care about appearance, I don't care what other people think type of characters, and it sucks, right? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of, sexy, beautiful, and strong. What's wrong with that? I don't understand. Wonder Woman, I mean, these are all characters. Even Captain Marvel, sexy, strong. I mean, just recently they started making her butch, cutting her hair and all types of crazy stuff. I think that was her decision. That's besides the point. But you know what I mean? It's just, why is that a bad thing? And on another note, they're complaining about the game that's primarily Asian based. I don't know if anybody's heard of something called anime. There's been boobs and butt in anime, jiggle fixes for the last 100 years. It feels like. I don't understand where this outrage came out of left field. I mean, Bayonetta, there's so many games that had those things in it. I understand. Even Dragon's Dogma 2. You can get jiggle physics on your booty and your boobs if you make them big enough. Like, I don't see anybody outraged about that. It's like a pick and choose outrage thing. I don't understand it. It's really wild. But going back to Sweet Baby Inc. Like, it's really a thing that I don't understand. Like, how has this company been operating for this long and no one said anything? It's taken this long for someone to say something. It's kind of crazy. So I'm in the camp of something like that should not exist. Unless you're making a game geared towards that topic, you shouldn't have another company force feeding you and primarily making you put that stuff into a game. It seems pretty crazy. And they're getting killed too. Now they're attacking Asmongold, trying to take his his pawn character away from Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, leave my boy Asmongold alone. The dude is awesome. Like, I don't understand. I don't get today's industry, but throw some comments in there. Let me know what you guys think about the topic. I don't. I just don't understand why this is a thing, right? Like, last thing I'll say, entertainment should stay entertainment. Leave the politics and the political stuff out of it. Just tell great stories and create great games. You don't need any other stuff. It actually just brings it down. Just saying. Alright, man. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.